I'm Doth Savick, and this is the Prodigy BP3 Backpack. This is their smallest backpack and cheapest. This thing is going for 29 bucks on Infinite, or between $32 to $36 from different places. I think I got it for 36 bucks, something like that, from Play It Again Sports. It's got a single drink holder on there, and it will carry a large size bottle up to, Nalgene size or so. And then we've got a putter pocket on top, main disc storage right in the front. This is a very soft bag. There's potentially no hard panels in it, depending on how you decide to set it up. It does come with a U-shaped kind of hardboard piece that goes front, bottom, and then up the back of the bag, and that gives you some Velcro slots that you can poke a couple dividers in. If you take those three pieces out, then it's a completely soft bag, and it's ridiculously light if you do that. 0.68 kilos. With the dividers in there, it's just under 1 kilo. Either way, that's the lightest bag I've ever reviewed, and you can really tell it is just hardly anything on your back when you're carrying this guy around. One of the first things that I noticed when I loaded this bag up, well, I took the dividers out and threw them to the side. I've got a habit of doing that. I guess whenever I see dividers, I just like, that's something to get in my way. I don't need to divide my discs. I had those out, and I packed the bag fully from left to right, and I realized that when I did that, the discs that were on the furthest edges were really blocked by the angle of this zipper here, so it was hard for me to get those in and out. For one, it's so many discs. You're packing 20 plus discs if you go all the way across and fill this thing. After carrying it like that for one round, I decided I was going to put the dividers back in and squeeze all my discs right to the center, and that would then give me cubby pockets on both sides that would be like my main storage if it was a grip bag. And I really like it with that layout. I think that this bag, for its price and for how lightweight it is, it makes sense to be carrying 12 to 14 discs. And if you're somebody who wants to carry 20 discs plus, then you're probably also the kind of person that wants to carry extra stuff, and then this just isn't probably the right bag for you, because there's not a whole lot of storage in here unless you're willing to come down in how many discs you carry. But as it is like this, I've gained myself the ability to carry 2 water bottles or some cans or something off to that side of the divider, and then on this side you can fit a rain jacket in there. I mean, I've got like my little pouch with bug spray and sunscreen and stuff. An extra towel over there. By pushing those discs to the middle, it carries really well and gives you the option to keep some extra stuff in there. The putter pocket's a little bit funky on this. You can see how it's just soft. Just the bag just already, just kind of wants to sag. Having 2 putters in there, and I got a, little dry bag, whatever. It already just doesn't want to stand up anymore. I just put a couple putters in there, and it kind of wants to crunch. You can fit a third, but it starts to get a little bit tight. That zipper is curved, so as soon as I'm going to 3 putters, then I'm starting to fight that zipper. I'm getting rubbed as I'm trying to pull those in and out. I like having a towel or a little birdie bag or whatever in there, instead of a third disc. I feel like that's just about right. It does have a zippered closure on top of that, and it is tough to get that zip closed when you have putters in there. You can see how high my putters are sticking out. I really would have to kind of fight with that to get enough slack to zip it closed, and the zipper's going the wrong way in my opinion. Like, one of the things that I most use a putter pocket cover for is if it starts to rain lightly, and I just want to untuck that flap and let it sit over the top of my putters. I'm not necessarily putting a rain fly on. This doesn't come with the rain fly, not the BP3 at least. I think they've got rain flies for the BP1 and BP2. Anyways, if this flap had gone the opposite way, then it would work for that. But as it is like this, you're still just potentially getting raindrops right in there. If the zip came across the bottom, then we'd have this nice hood on top that could work like a little rain cover. As it is, I almost just wish that flap wasn't there at all, because it will. I have to fight with it just a little bit on occasion. It's coming untucked with my discs, especially if I put them this way. Then the edge of that disc is a little more likely to catch on that pocket. Whatever. I'm not gonna be super nitpicky with this bag. I mean, it's $30 to $36. Like if I'm, when I'm buying and reviewing, spending $200, $400 on a bag, you better believe I'm gonna be hard on them. Any little thing that bugs me, I'm gonna go to town. And that's really not how I'm looking at this bag. I'm looking at it like, what do you get for that super low price? So I'm not gonna go crazy on it. One thing I've noticed that has been bugging me the last round I played with it was that, especially that like R-Pro Pig that I just had in my hand, when I pull that out, it really rubs on this flap and it wants to take this whole thing and untuck it. And multiple times I was going to put discs back in my bag and I had to push this in. I figured out that I can barely overlap this tongue and get it behind that hard U-shaped panel, and then it's a little bit more likely to stay in place there. But honestly, it's something that you might just have to keep fighting. It's just gonna keep coming untucked over time. There are two other pockets on here, and they're of a really nice size. The one that's on the same side as the drink holder does have a shorter zipper. That zipper doesn't come as far back compared to the one on the other side of the bag, but it really is a pretty big pocket. That pocket goes all the way to the back, so it's going behind the drink holder, and you got to keep that in mind if you're like that Nalgene bottle or whatever size bottle I had in there, a really big one. That's gonna come in contact if you really start filling this pocket up with other stuff. You're gonna be pushing, like hitting my cell phone with the edge of this bottle as I'm trying to stick it in there. So you might have to be a little bit conscious of that, so you're not rubbing stuff up against your valuables. But you can fit quite a bit in there, definitely no problem. On one side I'm doing all of my bag tags and car keys and wallet, and then the other one is gonna be my phone, and I've got room to spare. A bunch of little items fit really well. On this side you can see that zipper does go further back, so we've got a little bit better vision into this one. It's one of those things where, like with those pockets, if you fill them up, then it becomes hard to kind of search and get stuff out of them. I can't pull that out far enough to like really see well into the pocket if I have a whole bunch of little items. A lot of times when I'm searching for something in there, I'm unzipping the pocket and I'm pulling 2 or 3 things out before I find what I'm looking for. But they're good size pockets. Especially, like I'd complain maybe that it's just too small, but for the way I've got it figured out with putting those dividers and pinching all my discs into the middle, I think it's just about perfect. And I do have, let's see, I got 2 putters on top, 1, 2, 3, 4 mid/putters, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 8, 9, 10. So I got 10 in the bottom and then 2 in top. And that fits nicely like that. I could fit like easily another 6 to 8 discs depending on whether I'm going more towards drivers or towards mids. The fabric really does seem of high quality. It's really a thick fabric, not the sort you'd want to get close to an open flame. That stuff would melt pretty fast. It is kind of a plasticky feel. I always think about that because a lot of the bags and stuff I buy is for when I'm out backpacking and camping, and they can get set next to a fire and where sparks are flying. Not that you'd put your disc golf bags through it, but that's always what I think of when I'm feeling fabric. The shoulder straps on this are 10 millimeters. That's how the padding on it is 10 millimeters thick. That's about the skinniest strap out of any bag that I've reviewed, but this padding on the straps matter less and less with the lighter bag that you go with. So that's like certainly not a complaint. This bag is so light, as long as you're not putting 20 plus discs in it, it's really very easy to carry. We are missing no sternum strap on there. Again, not quite that big of a deal with the lighter weight bag. Very light padding on the back of this. Prodigy does have a version 2 of this bag out now, and I've got one coming in next week, so I'll review that as well. I think it's very, very similar, but I'm interested to see exactly what changes they've made. It's only a couple dollars more than this bag, so almost certainly it'll be the better choice over purchasing this one. We do have a haul loop on here. They put a bunch of padding in the haul loop. It's really comfortable, but it kind of gets pulled down with that sagging putter pocket. It's always in easy reach, although honestly I've really been just grabbing this bag almost all the time by one of the backpack straps. Soft bottom bag. It's got a little bit different material down here. You can see how it's got a little extra shine to that. It is probably a little bit less likely to have water seep through because of that shinier material, but there's still seams down here, so I certainly wouldn't just be setting this thing in puddles willy-nilly. But if anything on this bag is going to fail, what's really going to make it, if anything, hard to get your money out of it would be to tear stitching. And I'll leave that to you to search online, look for reviews of people who have really beat these bags up. I've only had this thing for a few weeks, and I haven't been nice to it at all. I've been beating it up and haven't seen the slightest hint that stitching is going to blow. But those are the things you kind of wonder when you're spending $30-35 for a bag. So I think that if you were looking at this review because potentially you want to fit 20 discs in a bag, it might be worth your while to just skip this and spend a little bit more. If it's going to be your first backpack bag, you're upgrading from a small shoulder bag, or maybe just your first bag in general, and you're not sure you're ready to jump in for $100-200 for a bag, and you're okay with maybe just getting 2 seasons out of a bag, this is an excellent bag for that price, and maybe you'll get more than a couple seasons out of it even. It's so inexpensive. It's an easy way for you to get a backpack bag and then figure out what features you really want if down the road you decide you are going to go all in on a more expensive bag. I intend to check out each of the bags from Prodigy. I'm not sure time-wise on that, but I do intend to get through them probably over the course of this summer. That BP3 V2 is coming in next week. I've also got the new Gorilla Boy, their second version of Simeon, coming in next week as well. So those two will be on deck, and not sure exactly where I'll go from there. But stay tuned. We'll get you some more bag reviews. Thanks for watching.